really have been wanting to do this.
A lot of people wonder why we get off the boat 3 to 6 months each year.
Hurricane Dorian, Category 5 storm hitting the Bahamas, heading for the southeast.
I was sort of in a disbelief, I think. And Kirk's like, that's a tornado. We need to get to the basement right now.
What are the odds that it's going to hit this
Right
house?
here. Mother Nature is just giving us a run for our money.
After suffering a lightning strike while on a mooring ball in St. Augustine, we hauled the boat to get everything checked out. Fortunately, our losses were limited to the electrical system, and no structural damage was found. With the Florida heat melting us to the core, we hit the road and chipped the van to spend a couple of months visiting family and friends in the Midwest. We drove up the East Coast via the Outer Banks, stopping in Philly and Boston, all the way to Bar Harbor, Maine. Then we cut through Montreal, Canada, and tried river surfing in the St. Lawrence.
Party, party. Yes! No!
Breaking news, of course, a catastrophic Category 5 storm.
One of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes in recorded
You're
history.
looking at a dangerous, and I've heard it described as a nightmare situation.
It's still making its way to the southeastern part of the United
Mandatory
States.
evacuations are already in place from Florida all the way up to North Carolina, and the storm leaving so much devastation in its path. Take a look.
After Solianis was struck by lightning, we thought we'd had our dose of Mother Nature's wrath for a while. Unfortunately, that's not really how it works.
I really have been wanting to do this. So, we left the boat 2 weeks ago, Florida, and now we're back in Michigan at Kirk's parents' house. And Hurricane Dorian, I can barely keep it together. Hurricane Dorian is headed right for the east coast of Florida. It's been a real crap last couple days because it seems like the entire coast is going to get slammed.
The closer Dorian inched towards the Bahamas, the more it looked like Solianis would be in its crosshairs. The worst case scenario of a direct hit seemed inevitable. If winds didn't knock her over, the storm surge would surely float her off her stance. We've been through so much with Solianis, she's like a part of the family. The possibility of losing her was heart-wrenching.
But I can't help but think that we left her.
This afternoon, we are getting new images showing the extent of Dorian's destruction. Sure, Nicole, do you think people feel like they've dodged a bullet considering what happened in the Bahamas?
Yes, certainly people here breathing a sigh of relief. I talked to one.
We were glued to the news out of St. Augustine, and it was a huge sigh of relief. There was some minor flooding, but the winds were never that fierce. We got word from a boat neighbor that Solianis was safe. We were incredibly lucky and so relieved. Needless to say, owning a boat has its fair share of ups and downs. Oh, it's so bright.
Several weeks later, we were back on the road, headed to Wisconsin to visit my family.
Beautiful! So there were gale warnings all last night. There's a break right out here. It looks like if the wind shifted just a little bit more, that would be surfable. It would almost be offshore. I think if I had a windsurfer, I'd definitely be out there.
Whew.
But it looks like pretty good waves. I mean, it's always tough to tell from this angle.
It looks crumbly, but it looks consistent.
Yeah.
Stops to check out the conditions of Lake Michigan are mandatory on all of our drives. got the burgers. We got the water. We got the chainsaw. We got the pops. We got the socks and flip-flops.
You got mine on.
Yeah. Well, so
We were in a tornado.
yeah. We're at my sister's house right now, and 2 nights ago, tornado plowed right through. Right over their house. Thankfully, the house is still standing. Took out most of their trees.
There's the power line.
My daughter and son-in-law survived Hurricane Michael last October in Panama City, and I think this happened in an instant. Snap your fingers, and this is what we got. She huddled down under a stairwell for 3.5 hours.
Oh, nice little promo there.
Even though it didn't come that far in, but it actually came in closer than it was going to.
We showed up about 5 minutes before and ran inside, and then it got eerily still. There was no wind, but we could hear a whoo, just a constant whirring. Just driven into the ground. This is how close this roof came to Kelly and Chris's house. Like, look at these. That's what scared the shit out of me, is that stuff.
Yeah, this
Thinking about that coming through their house.
this hole right here that was,
Yeah.
I mean, this is like 1.5 or 2 feet into the ground.
Yeah.
Just sprayed. This was the roof of their neighbor's garage, torn off and smashed into Kelly and Chris's front yard. We knew that there was tornadoes like all that day because my mom, she's constantly checking the weather, and we were staying with my parents the night before. She's like, make sure you leave early enough to get over to your sister's because you don't want to be caught in a storm. I just want to show you real quick where we ran down into the basement. Hey, kitty. No. Get back. This is where the tornado came from. That's the west. And it's got this big pine tree up here. So it used to be twice as tall. It was taken off in 2 pieces. So we ran down here and ran under these stairs right here. And so the problem is that it's pretty exposed. I mean, there's a huge window right there, and these stairs, this is only a half flight really. It's not a super deep basement. Yeah, we were heading over here. After we left my parents last night, we were driving through a crazy lightning show to get here.
Whoa! I'm feeling I'm in like a haunted house.
It was raining really hard when we arrived, and we ran into the house. And then like 2 minutes after we arrived, we got alerts on our phones saying, warning, take cover. And all of a sudden, Kirk was poking his head out the front door again, and he's like, the wind died. And the thunder was no longer thundering. It was like constant. People, I guess, describe it like a train. Kind of a dull, far away high roar. Really eerie. And Kirk's like, that's a tornado. We need to get to the basement right now. I ran out into the van and grabbed my hard drives, priorities. I just wanted to look too. I wanted to go outside and look and see if I could see anything. And I looked up and down their street and the sky was just kind of like a dark purple. So we all ran down in the basement, and as we're like diving towards the stairs, Kirk says his ears had popped, and I felt my ears pop, and I was like, oh my God, the pressure's dropping. If there's one thing that I remember from all the hurricane watching that we did was how low the pressure gets. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's got to be close. And not like 6 seconds later, we hear stuff hitting the house. And I thought for sure the roof was gone. Like there was just, a couple windows broke, and we just like huddled under the stairs, and then it was done in 5 seconds.
We experienced 165 mile an hour winds for like 10 or 15 seconds, which is just the tiniest glimpse of what the people of the Abacos experienced for over 24 hours, and it was sheer terror. Before we went to bed right after the tornado, there were flashing lights and sirens everywhere, and it was just like so comforting to know that people were out there taking care of business, getting the power back up, making sure people were safe, clearing the roads. And I just can't imagine being in a place like the Abacos and just having nothing left.
The big box elder tree that landed almost on all of our cars just got pulled away. Cleanup is in full force.
We had a whole ton of family and friends come by and help clean up, and this place looks like you would hardly even know it that a tornado hit it today. A lot of people wonder why we get off the boat 3 to 6 months each year, and partly it's because we're just ready for a little bit of change for a little while, but mostly it's because we want to see family, and the hurricane season presents a perfect opportunity to escape stormy weather where we don't want to be on the boat. And it's just so weird to think about. We drove 1,500 miles to get to safety, basically, and landed in a 1/3 mile wide disaster zone of the tornado. Even when we got the alerts on our phone that there is a tornado in our area, I was like, tornadoes they have such a narrow path of damaging winds. Like, what are the odds that it's gonna hit this house?
Right here, yeah. We're back in the mitten.
Back in the mitten. All right. Here goes nothing. All right, we've got a week before we're supposed to leave for Florida. And true to form, I was trying to squeeze in one last project. Cutting a giant hole in the roof of our van to install a vent fan.
All right. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
If you've watched us for a while, you know we tackle big projects slowly and deliberately. The boat is usually priority number one, so we get to van projects in the off-season a little bit at a time.
It's okay, buddy. It's gonna be okay. Kirk and I always say that it looks like Chip's got a face. Look at him. He's like a little puppy dog. And he's always got a goofy grin on. Is that it? Woo. There's some light in there.
Be very careful with this, but will you grab that?
Yeah.
He sails through the Milky Way stars, carries my ship by his waves of time. This way my wish will rise, like the seagull spread its wings. Take
Your business up top. It's on the roof. On the roof.
Whoa! The fan's in!
That's a fan. Cool! Alright, so now I just gotta find those screws to actually attach it.
Minor detail.
Yay!
We're back at the boat.
We're back!
Can I just show this new toy?
Does tearing our boat apart make you happy?
That's been the problem with this boat the entire time.
Yeah.
It's too nice.